It's not only known for its cleanliness, but also for its tourist sites. The streets are certainly kept clean and green.
Calabar is the most beautiful place you can find in there.
Since it's all the same Nigerian, we are wondering, what is the magic that you did that the people of Calabar can comply with sanitation laws?
Well, I think it's commitment and education, a combination of both, and a lot of hard work. Yes. No, we don't use force. We don't use an army. The people are very responsive, and it has grown on them. So the city now, it's now a civic responsibility amongst the citizens of the state to keep the place clean.
There are lots of things to see and places to visit in Calabar. There is the brick-filled prison wall in Calabar. It was built in 1890. The late sage Chief Obafemi Awolowo was said to have been imprisoned there. We understand from the museum curator that the prison was meant for important personalities.
The first curator of this museum, she fought so well to make sure that wall is now preserved the way it is today. You know, it was, will I say, military regime, and most of these things don't mean so much, you know, to them. But Mrs. Ekpo knew the value of that wall and the history behind the wall, and she fought so well, and we thank God that the government then saw it necessary to, you know, approve the preservation of the wall.
Then we have the museum. The building was originally known as the Government House. It was prefabricated in Britain in 1884 and erected in Old Calabar to accommodate the early British administration of the Niger Coast territories. This was the seat of the Oil Rivers and the Niger Coast Protectorate. There's also this cast iron bell, which was built in 1848. It belonged to an important Cobham town chief and trader. It was confiscated by Consul Anelsley in the 1870s as punishment for alleged maltreatment of slaves. Since the end of the 19th century, the bell was used at the Public Works Department compound to announce the beginning and end of the working hours. Now let's go to the Slave History Museum. Slavery started around the 15th century, and Calabar was one of the first places to come in contact with the whites.
Calabar was one of those first places that had contact with the white people, and they discovered that it was a good business because of the system already existing here. They had good kingship system. They had, you know, already well managed merchants, you know, and so far back from the Portuguese before the English, the British people came.
The museum depicts the different stages the slaves went through, from how the weak ones were thrown overboard on the high seas to advertisements for the sale of slaves. It also depicts how they were auctioned, branded, and sent to the plantations to work. One unique thing about the museum is that it recreates the voices of the slaves and the agonies they went through.
The place you now see today was a slave port. The government of Donadieu recreated that, you know, to preserve the history of slave trade. It's a wonderful place, and it's a modern museum, a museum with audio, assisted with audio materials. So it makes it exciting for people to watch.
Our tour guide also tells us about the tidal wave of Calabar River.
It comes in every 6 hours and goes out every 6 hours. So right now, if people that have been here 6 hours ago won't believe this water right now, because once the water has gone out, you can walk 6 meters towards the water itself.
Without sinking?
No, without sinking.
And then 6 hours later, it comes back.
It comes back. It leads straight to the ocean, to the Atlantic Ocean. With this water now, you can get to Oron. You can also get to Bonny.